So, welcome. And one of the primary objects of a spiritual practice is to expand our capacity for awareness, to include all of our experience. And there is a tendency as human beings to consciously or unconsciously exclude certain parts of our experience, which we deem as wrong or bad or uncomfortable. And spirituality is about opening up to the entirety of our experience and opening up beyond the details of our experience to sense the spirit in all that is. And oftentimes there can be an orientation towards really opening towards the unpleasant parts of our experience, because those parts of our experience are really the reason why we distract ourselves, why we have a hard time connecting with ourselves and others and life in general. And also, they can lead to physical and emotional and mental dysregulation. And so there's a real emphasis on really allowing the more unpleasant parts of our experience to be as they are and to explore what it is that they hold and how it is that the light of our awareness can actually liberate these things into energies that can actually feed the evolution of our soul. And so that's been a big emphasis, certainly in the teachings here. But today, what I thought I would do is to encourage us and to guide us into a practice where we're actually more oriented towards the pleasant in our experience, towards that which is pleasant. And there's a sense that as we do that, the capacity for presence can be really nourished. And also, it balances out. We can tend to get overly oriented towards looking for and micromanaging the unpleasant experiences. And again, to a certain extent, that's important within our practice, is to really open to the whole of our experience. But I thought we could try just orienting towards the pleasant today and to see for ourselves how that affects our practice. So even as you just land here in the group, there could be perhaps a pleasant experience as we come together each week and just kind of this familiarity that's beginning to build here. And that can feel good in our system. And we may not even be able to put a finger on it, but there's something that feels home. So you can perhaps notice that in your experience. It's perhaps what brings you here and what brought you here today. This feeling that perhaps can't really be described, but that feels like home when we join together with a group of like-minded people. And there can also just be this pleasant experience of settling and being still, of not needing to do anything else except to just be here with our experience as it is. That in and of itself can be a relief for the system, for the nervous system, for the mind, for the physical body as well, as it just sits in stillness. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. So notice that feeling. And there can also be a pleasantness to just allowing the eyelids to fall. While it's nice to close our eyes and to go to sleep at night, there's something about being awake and also having the eyelids come down. Just notice how that feels for you to just be still, to let the eyelids fall, and how that might land in your body, how that might affect the rest of your body. There could be kind of like a soothing quality to it, a peaceful feeling. And really allow yourself to steep in that and to feel, to orient towards that which is pleasant in your experience. The breath itself can also feel quite enjoyable as it comes and it goes on all on its own, and we attune with that familiar rhythm. What else feels pleasant in your experience right now? You notice a kind of a settling of the bones and of the muscles. And then there can be pleasant feelings and experiences that arise from within as well. Perhaps a flavor of peace or a sense of light or radiance, or maybe the heart softens a little bit. And when you notice attention wanting to go towards those things that aren't quite as pleasant and into analysis or trying to fix, just notice that and return to something that feels pleasant in your experience. And you could even also, when we do this presence with pleasance, with the pleasant practice, you can also think about something recent in your life that felt quite pleasant. Maybe it was a walk along a path and there was beautiful scent from the wildflowers. Maybe it was watching the rain fall from inside the comfort of your home. Maybe it was a lovely conversation with someone, a good meal, beautiful ripe peach. So perhaps at this point you can call to mind something recent that felt very pleasant for you and allow yourself to revisit that and see if you can sort of slow down the whole experience so that you can take it in fully. Because it tends to be that the pleasant comes to us and there's a quick kind of, that's nice, and then we just move on. So we can slow down in the midst of the pleasant experiences, just as we do when the unpleasant come in. And we can really sort of feel how that pleasant experience lands in our bodies, in our hearts, within our senses, in our mind, in our nervous system, and in our energy body. So to be fully present is to engage all of our ways of knowing, all of our ways of receiving life. Body, heart, emotional system, energy body, mind, senses, and to slow down. And then presence will gradually take you deeper within that experience. And we begin to notice that the pleasant experience is actually our, in a way, knocking at the door of a lot of those places in our being which have been shut down. The pleasant experiences can soften the heart, can make their way into the heart through the cracks. They can unwind the nervous system. They can spark inspiration. They can remind us of our connection with all that is. They can awaken our senses. But it takes a kind of a slowing down and a being with. And an availability to the fullness of the interaction with that which is pleasant. And in time, we may notice that one of the reasons why we rush by even the things that we want and the things that are pleasant is that as we do immerse ourselves in those pleasant components of our lives, they shine the light, they open up those areas which have been shut down. And so even the pleasant leads us to the unconscious. Even the pleasant is a way to awakening. And even in the pleasant, it's important to, as we were saying last week, to notice what's noticing. So whether an experience is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, the space in which it's happening, the space in which it's unfolding is always the same. And so even with the pleasant, as we immerse ourselves and we steep in it, there's an invitation to lean back into this spacious presence. And to let the reverberations of that which is pleasant to make their way through the system, to knock on those doors of unintegrated energies, to awaken the heart, to awaken the energy centers, to awaken the senses. But all of it is just being open to, because it's a natural unfolding. Life wants us to wake up, and it uses both the pleasant and the unpleasant to do so. And so the invitation is to bring presence as we slow down, as we soften, as we surrender to the moment. And so for the remainder of our time together, I invite you to continue to make space and to orient towards that which is pleasant in your experience, and to let that be exactly as it is, and to lean back energetically into the spacious presence that is making way for that which is unfolding.